Welcome. Thank you for joining us for this demo presentation of Healee today. My name is Vera Yordanova. Let me show my video. Hi, everyone again. So my name is Vera Yordanova. I'm with Healee Marketing, and we'll be showing you today a demo of Healee. Our agenda for today is really quick. I'll start with a brief introduction of Healee, a few facts for those of you who are brand new to the platform, and then I'll hand it over to our customer success team, who are Filipa and Ioana. Then we'll open it up to Q&A and next steps. You can ask questions anytime during the presentation. The Q&A button can be found depending on your screen setup, usually in the bottom of the webinar toolbar. And this session will be recorded, just so you know, for privacy reasons. We'll address all questions either during the presentation or right after. Ioana and Filipa are members of our customer success team. They are your main point of contact for when you become a customer, and they are responsible for setting up our white label customer replicas. And today they'll be playing the roles of the patient and the physician to demonstrate features of Healee. Like I promised, just a few quick words about Healee. So Healee's functionalities are built for addressing all the parts of the patient journey, from scheduling patient appointments to digital check-in, patient intake and triage with custom forms, to performing the virtual care exams using all sorts of modalities. Healee's multi-platform, can be used on any platform. It's hosted, your white label version is hosted on dedicated servers, so everything looks custom built in-house, hosted on custom URLs. It's integrated within the entire tool set. It has tools for communication, like I said, messaging, data sharing, payments. So normally our customers are able to replace up to half-dozen tools in their environments with Healee. It's interoperable, and it integrates with common EHR systems, e-prescribing, billing, and so on. Our users are in the thousands of physicians, millions of patients, so our features are pretty well tested and validated by now. And just quickly showing you a few examples of customer implementations. As you can see, they all look custom branded, and in the next few minutes, you'll be able to see the functionalities within the provider side and the patient side. So that's all from me, and I'll hand it over to our customer success team, and I wish you pleasant viewing.
Okay, so today I'm gonna start the session as the patient, as Vera said. Thank you, Vera, for the introduction. I'm gonna share my screen, and what we will go through today is how to find a specialist according to your needs, how to create an account, what you can do within the Healee universe, and so on and so forth. I will walk you through all of the steps one by one. So in the beginning, we will start with our booking component. So from here, you can find diverse doctors that will treat you. You could filter through all of the different specialties that are provided. You could choose a location if that's going to be easier for you, or if you know the specialist that you're going to see, you can just use that one. We have a search for a clinic as well. So you could search by the type of clinic, their location, and the name of it if you know that you want it to be seen in a special clinic. So today I'm gonna check for Ioana. So I'm gonna search for her, And as you can see, this is where her practice is. She offers video consultations as well as in-office ones. When you click on book an appointment, you will see Joanna's profile and you can check her information over here, and you could see all of the practices that she has. For today's purposes, I'm going to use the video consultation. And while we do that, we could check the reason for visit. So I'm going to use medical problems since this will be my first time visit. And I could see that her availability is on the 19th of December. I could browse through her calendar and check which hours are convenient to me and book an appointment for then. I'm gonna choose, let's say 8 p.m. on Monday. Okay, reason for my visit is a medical problem. I'm gonna use the personal payment and I'm a new patient. So I click on continue. And as I'm not registered, right now the system would ask me to register. So I'm just gonna create a new account. And if I already have one, I could just log in. We're setting a password. Oops. There we go. So over here, I'm just gonna fill in my basic information, a phone number, date of birth. I could check the terms and conditions and also the privacy policy and clicking on done. So I have not yet booked my appointment. You could see that I'm almost ready and I need to click on complete booking in order to actually reserve a slot. So I'm clicking on complete booking. And over here, I could see that I have already booked the video. I could add it to my Google Calendar as well. And how you go to Healee from here is you click on my appointments, and then I could see all of the details of the consultation that I have just reserved, and I could click on view consultation. When I click on that, I will be taken to the telehealth component within the Healee universe. I can see that my appointment is for Monday, December 19th. I can manage it from here. If I want to reschedule it, I can reschedule it very easily from here, but I don't want to do that at the moment. So I'm just going to close that window. I'm just going to go back to Healee. Within the Healee universe, there are a few things that you could actually do. One of them is you could check all of your appointments. You could check all of your appointments and your past appointments. You could look into your profile and you could enter different data. You could add your vitals from here. You could add body temperature, pulse rate, blood pressure, blood glucose, so on and so forth. And I will show you how you can do that. Let's say that today I want to add my temperature. I'm not feeling very well. Have a 39 degree in Celsius. Oops, that was in Fahrenheit first. It converted it. Hopefully I don't have a 3-degree temperature because otherwise I'd be dead. So I'm gonna add my temperature. You could add your temperature in within 5-minute increments. So if you have like a high temperature, you could definitely track it over here and see how it will either decrease or increase with time. These are all of the vitals that we check. I could also add a pulse rate over here. Let's say that my pulse is 89 for today. What else you could do within the Healee universe is you could upload different images and different documents that are needed for the doctor. And if you want them to review any of your medical history, anything like that, if you have any information that you'd want the doctor to see, you could easily upload it from here. And I have prepared over here a picture of a brain. I could use that one. I could also add PDF documents or Word documents, anything like that. And we even have a separate panel to upload MRI and X-rays. Some of the files that are too big for the system, we have a section where you can upload all of the files like that. I could also upload my lab results from here. And I could add my conditions. We have a separate section that's called conditions. This is something that you could add as a patient. So the doctor could actually, it would be a lot easier for the doctor to check your condition. Let's say that I have a rash. And the severity is very high, and it has started on the 11th. I could add that. What symptoms do I have? Let's say that I have itchiness or itching. And I have redness. Redness of face. Next. And I could add all of the treatments that I'm using, but let's say that currently I'm not using anything. If I did, I would just click on the plus and then find the treatment. Let's say I'm just adding something. I don't really know what this medication is for, so let's not add it at all. And you're clicking on done. And over here, you have your current condition. You could easily change the way that you're feeling. If your rash has like calmed down, I could change it to, let's say that it's kind of like medium. I could say that my skin is no longer itching, and I could even say when this happened, whether it was today, yesterday, or on a specific date. I could add more symptoms if I wanted to. Over here, I could add my treatments, even like after my doctor has prescribed anything to me, I could add my treatments from here. But let's add a treatment like multivitamins. And I could even say when I'm taking those vitamins. I could set different dates, and the system would actually remind me when I should take my medicine. So let's say that this is a recurrent treatment and I need to take this daily, and I'm gonna take that, let's say at 1 p.m. Or if I need to take it twice a day, I could add another hour, and let's say that the other one would be 10 p.m. Okay, now we go back. And we click on done. And we have our reminders over here in red for me to take my vitamins. So let's say that I took that one already. So I'm clicking on that one, and this is all of my reminders. whenever I book an appointment, I have a chat over here with the doctor, so I could start chatting with them. Easily, even before my consultation. But one thing is that I cannot call or either audio call or video call with my doctor. It would tell me that I'm in the waiting room and my doctor needs to start my appointment. Okay. What else you could do is you could directly send files in the thread and send it to the doctor. You could send an audio message as well. So here my doctor replied to me. And in this case, the doctor could actually send a medical form for me to fill in before my appointment, so they have all of the information that they needed. This is what our forms look like and how you fill it in. It looks kind of like chatting with a bot. So this is my name. I select my gender. I have itchy skin and I have a rash as well. We offer multiple selection. We offer single selection. We have date selection as well. We could type a free text. And I have filled everything in for the doctor. So we're ready for our consultation that's gonna take place now instead of like the 19th of December. Okay, this is the patient side done in a nutshell. So now Ioana's gonna take over and she's gonna show us the MD side of Healee.
Thank you, Philippa. I'm happy to meet everyone. I've been chatting away with some of you. So thank you for your questions. I'm going to impersonate the doctor in this session. So starting from my Healee screen, which as you can see is quite similar to the one that Philippa was showing earlier. But of course, since I'm logged in as a provider, I'm seeing many more and different options here. So similar to a patient, I can, of course, edit my profile, add some fields which I would like to be visible to the patient. When they connect with me, I can also set a consultation price. I can set a status so that patients will be able to know whether I'm currently available and online to answer any questions or if I'm away or out of office. And what you have been seeing so far from the patient's perspective in the messages section was the chat that Philippa and I had going on. So from my end, of course, I can review the same data that we've been exchanging. I can review the appointment that she has scheduled, the fields that we shared, and the patient intake form that I sent her way for her to fill in. I also have a number of options available to me, including sending saved replies, which I just did. So rather than typing out this by hand every single time, I just had it saved and used it. I can send a medical form, more than one, and I can send it at different times. It does not need to be only once. I can request a short video if, for example, I'm looking for more information before I begin the consultation with my patient, and this would help me provide a better tailored service. Similarly to the patient side, I can also upload files, send them over to the patient. I can upload images, which are stored not only in the message thread, but also in our data repository so that I can refer back to them if needed. especially if I have a very long running chat and I don't want to scroll through numbers of text. I can send an audio message, and I can also request additional payment here. So for example, my patient might have already paid for this consultation, but they might have also requested an additional service, and this service is billable. So rather than having them book a second appointment, I can simply send an additional payment request. Of course, I can define the currency. I can also change the amount if needed, and I can send it over to her. Apart from these options, I can also write up a diagnosis or send an e-prescription if I'm a prescriber. So I'll show you the e-prescription flow first. The patient's data will auto-populate here from her profile so that I don't have to manually enter everything again. If everything's correct, of course, because the patient might have input wrong information, I can also change it on my end for this prescription. And my next step includes treatments. You probably noticed that this UI is quite similar to the one that Philippa was showing earlier when she was adding her conditions, symptoms, and then medications that she was taking. So in this case, I can prescribe different medications to her. So I can also set the dosage. I can say, you should apply this solution 1 time per day for 5 days. I can also add more medications if needed, or I can, of course, come back to the screen at a later point and issue a second e-prescription to my patient. And I can send it over. So right now I'm seeing the unique number of the e-prescription, what I've prescribed, and I can review it here as well. But there's a bit more data. If the patient wants me to send it over to her via email instead, or maybe she prefers that I refer this to her pharmacy directly, I can do so from here. So just need to input the email, and this has been also sent outside of the system. Apart from this, apart from my messages section, I can also review my list of current patients where I can create groups and have these categorized together. This is very helpful if it's difficult for me to track a lot of patients and their data. And I can also go to each patient's profile where I can review their digital medical file, where I can input free text notes, or I can also use our embedded Google speech to text service rather than typing out these notes. I can also create forms, and I can review forms that have been already filled in either by me or the patient. So here you're seeing the one that Philip filled in the chat, and it was completed. So that's why it's showing up here. But I can also create my own form, which is private to me as a physician. So I can choose whether this form will be shared with the patient or not. And depending on the configuration of the system, I can also define whether this form will be visible to other providers or not. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's quite lengthy, but I just wanted to show you how it looks. Then I can also review the images and documents that my patient and I have been sharing in the message thread. So here you can see the files and images that she and I have been uploading so far. And if she's chosen to share her vitals data with me, I can click this link and review what she has already input. So as she already went through adding her body temperature and pulse rate, I can review them here. Also, if she updates this information, I'll also be able to quickly check on it again. And lastly, I can also choose whether to get updates once my patient adds any new vital condition Maybe she uploads a lab result. I can also define when I'm going to get notified. So for example, I might not want to know when her blood pressure is above these specific variables, but I might be interested if her blood pressure drops below this minimum here. So then I'll only receive a notification within the application if she enters a blood pressure count that is lower than the specified one. And I can also review my video schedule. So here I can see all video consultations scheduled by different patients. I can also go into my calendar as well. You can see here that I have 2 practices, and the one that Philippa scheduled her appointment with is my in-person practice at this desk clinic. So here I can review different appointments. I can edit the information. Say the patient might have contacted me outside of the system and they told me that they're actually looking for a bit of a longer visit, so maybe 70 minutes. So I can update this on my end and it will be reflected on hers as well. I can, of course, cancel or reschedule this appointment in the same way that the patient can do that. And I can also book an appointment on behalf of a patient. Now, this can be a patient that's already in the system. So if I know their phone number, I can search by that and their data will pre-populate, or I can start typing in their credentials if I know that they still don't have an account in the system, and I can send an invitation link to them, which they can respond to in their own right. I can also review my practices, make changes to them if I need to, say, adjust my schedule for the upcoming week, or I need to add a separate practice, maybe a home visit. And these are my calendar-centered abilities as a provider. And finally, what we wanted to show you, if I go back into Healee. So Philippa has scheduled an appointment for the 19th, but I can call her earlier if, maybe we've discussed this, or I need more information from her and it's better than just texting her in the application. So I prefer to instead have a quick chat with her. So I can either initiate an audio call or a video call. Unfortunately, since we're using Zoom, our video call option will crash because we're using a conflicting service right now for this webinar, but we can try to hold an audio call instead. So I can call her from my end and she'll receive a prompt on her side that I'm calling her. As you can see, she's responded. So we have this timer running, and our video chat function is very similar to this, obviously, as the name implies. And the video chat, we can also turn on or turn off our cameras, which we cannot do in this chat. We can also screen share if we're having a video session. And we might still be talking here, but say I want to go back into our chat, maybe check my video schedule, so see when we're actually due to have our conversation, or I might want to go in here and maybe write up a quick note while we're discussing it, and she'll receive it. And at all these points, I'll have this tab strip at the top of my screen, so I'll be able to go back to our call and mute myself, unmute myself, and continue talking. And if I hang up, then the call will be considered as completed. Basically, we give more freedom and more power to our providers, so they're the only ones that can actually initiate an audio or video call and the ones that can terminate it in their own right. Okay, so these were the basics that we wanted to